Okay, everyone. It's another day for life and relationship realities with Tolu Alabi. And today we're discussing on um, long distance relationship. We're discussing on long distance relationship. And I want to welcome everyone. I was going to send something, I was going to write something out, a number that we could call, but you can just send your comment even as we go along. Like I always say, I want to know where you're watching from. And also you're free to please just leave a comment, leave a question, whatever it is in your heart that you want to leave. If you want to contribute, you've been there before, you're free to write on the comment section. So today we're talking about long distance relationship. There are certain things that are ideal in life. There are certain things that are not ideal, and people have to learn to live with certain things. Long distance relationship is one of such things. We're talking about love and faithfulness in long distance relationship. Why would we talk about love? Because in distant relationship, those two things can actually be affected badly. Love can be affected badly in long distance relationship. Faithfulness can be affected badly in long distance relationship. So how do you sustain those two? How do you sustain those? Because when you're talking about long distance relationship, I want to start with, why do we need to have a long distance relationship? There are several reasons that can make people get into long-term relationship. It could be job. Sometimes someone's job is being um, taking them somewhere. Pastor Tabitha, thank you. Good to see you online. So you can actually have a job. Someone is posted somewhere, they're working somewhere, and they want to settle down first before their family come. Sometimes the places where some people have to go to work is not the place where they want to raise their family. So sometimes they station their family in a particular place and they go work in another place. Another thing could be school. Okay, so someone wants to go to school and the family, they can't afford to move the whole family to the place where the school is. So sometimes it's like that, especially marriage now. Sometimes people relocate and they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna relocate. Both couple, the couple decide, the family decide to say we're relocating. And then maybe one person, okay, this person is gonna go first. And then the person goes first. And the person got there and realized that no, things are not like it is. I met someone when I first got to the USA. The person has been here for like 22 years, and the person has now been able to sort his papers well. And I remember I told the person, I said, you really don't have to stay. What about your family there? But the truth is that things can happen. Things can happen. This month, by God's grace, we're going to still be talking about effect of relocation on families. But today is not the day we're talking about that. So we're talking about long distance relationship. Some people met themselves online. They are not married. They met themselves online and they're developing relationship. If someone is asking me right now, like, absolutely, do you believe in online love? Well, I believe in any relationships, there have to be caution. You can meet people anywhere. That's the truth, but caution is to be put in situations like that. And then people talking to themselves. Most times there's a lot of deception going on. People talking to themselves, this person is there, that person is there, and you're not seeing yourself and you're like, oh, we're dating, we're relating. I've shared about my friend before, my very good friend. Our marriage is over 30 years now. It's a beautiful marriage. They're happy. Their first son is married, and their second son is gonna finish medical school, I think, this year. So they're doing well, but they met themselves even though there was family introduction and so on, but they met themselves. They were not living in the same place. And they met themselves and they were always talking on the phone. Those days, you don't see the person you're talking to. And they believe both of them were hungry for God. They would talk for hours. And eventually, he proposed to her on the phone. And she agreed to marry him on the phone. And until they eventually saw themselves, and the first time they saw themselves, I don't think that they married. They waited up to like 2 weeks before they went and did get married, because they wanted to honor God with their body, which they did at the end of the day. And so there can be situations like that. Maybe someone introduced you to someone, the person is not there, so you're communicating first. It can be a lot of reasons why there's long distance relationship. The truth is, long distance relationship is not the ideal. Christopher from Abuja, you're welcome. Long distance relationship is not the ideal in any situation. So yesterday during dinner in my family, all the boys were talking about it. We're talking about this long distance relationship. And we're like, okay, yeah, I'm talking about it tomorrow. Does anybody have anything to say about it? And my first son went, I'm not going to advise it with anybody, because it depends on that person's love language. What if the love language is touch? And then they can't see themselves or something. How do they sustain the relationship? And then my 13-year-old son, who also wanted to give advice concerning long distance relationship. And I was just laughing about the time their dad called. And I was telling him, I said, can you imagine your 13-year-old boy wants to give advice on long distance relationship. But you know, what are we saying? There can be reasons. So people sometimes will say, never say never. You know, I had to deal with long distance relationship. I didn't know that I would ever be in a long distance relationship. I never saw that coming. You know, but sometimes as a family, you make a decision and you have to go. It's good for the interest of the general family to go in the direction that all of you feel you should go, and especially when God is leading. So in an ideal situation, I will not recommend a long distance relationship for anybody. But I'll also say at the same time that distance relationship is possible. There can be love sustained, there can be faithfulness sustained, there can be sanity sustained, but it takes an extra effort with long distance relationship. I was thinking about this and I thought myself, and I was even saying it. I said, some people are even married, they live in the same home, they live in the same house, but their relationship is like long distance relationship, because this person is living a different life, the other one is living a different life, but under the same roof. Let's not talk about those emotional distance relationships. Let's just concentrate on the geographical long distance relationship. Gracia said, watching from Plateau State, thanks for being a blessing, Mom. Thank you too, love you there. So many reasons. So that means that sometimes a couple can sit down and say, okay, what do we plan? Okay, this person needs to go to school, maybe outside the country. And if that person is going to school, okay, we're going to be at home. We're going to wait maybe when she finishes or when he finishes, then we go meet the person. So there can be those things. Situation will come. We don't live in a perfect world at any time. God's purpose is for man, wife, and children to be together. But things can happen that does not work in that order. And so does long distance relationship. So I'm going to be talking with both for singles and for married. For singles, it's a little bit different, you know, because this is a choice you're making. You're dating somebody. There can be, you may have good intention, you know, but it brings about a lot of stress, both for singles and for married. As we go on, you begin to understand. So I said, so we're concentrating on geographical long distance relationship. Like I said, some people are in the same room. The thing that separates them somebody is facing Jerusalem, another person is facing Syria. So the thing that separates them, even though it looks little, but it's like millions of miles apart, if I can use that, if I can use that. And also, but we're concentrating on geographical. And so what are these challenges? Number one is someone, if you have to have a long distance relationship, know that it's possible. Another thing is to know that be careful about what people say, because those things can be destructive on the long run. Our heart is very important. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Some people, the long distance relationship has failed on arrival because the other person is going, this person is already, so now what mean? Oh, can I now trust you? Can I? Those one's negative mind start coming into something, that thing is dead on arrival. Faith is the way that we receive from God. So faith in another person is also very important. So if husband and wife decide to say, okay, we want to have a long distance relationship because of this, sometimes for the good of the family on the long run, I think it's something you should pray about. And it's something that is doable. But what are the challenges? You need to know the challenges and you need to know how to sustain love. So in a relationship, we're talking about love and faithfulness. In a relationship where there is no love and they are to separate, that's the separation. It's another thing entirely. But we're talking about consciously wanting to have that kind of relationship for the good of the family where there is love. No matter how little, the Bible said, if you have faith as little as mustard seed, you can command things. That's how I believe that love is. If you have even a little, an iota of love, you can always develop that love and make it become a mountain or big. So what are the challenges? The truth is, easy distraction is one major challenge. They usually will say this, out of sight is out of mind. The truth is, out of sight shouldn't be out of mind, because sight is not just what you see physically. Vision is not just what we see physically. We see it in our heart. My mom died when I was 1 year, 2 months, but I always have my mom in my heart. I see her, I could see, I love, I'm connected with her in love, even though I cannot see her physically. So there are different ways to keep that love in your heart. So consciously telling yourself that is one major thing. To say that, irrespective of what you think, to say that this person is in my heart. For men are usually attracted by what they see physically. And so when that person is not there, the eyes can begin to roam around. The eyes begin to see all kinds of things. And don't even forget, the enemy is not even, the Bible says it goes around like a roaring lion, seeking who to devour. And the Bible talks about sex among couple now. And it said, don't defraud one another. If you separate for a little while, quickly come together. So those things are in place. Those things are true. But sometimes some people are not able to quickly come together for certain reasons. So how do you keep what is in your heart? For me, one of the things I would say from my experience, one of the things I say to myself, see, distraction, sex, all of these, they are product of the things of the mind. The Bible says something in Daniel chapter 1, verse 8. Some people, it's easier for them than other people. Daniel chapter 1, verse 8, it said, and Daniel proposed in his heart that he will not eat of the king's meat. How do you propose in your heart not to eat of the king's meat when the food is so delicious? I mean, I'm working on my way, I'm losing weight, I'm working on my diet and everything. But even at that, sometimes I'm just like, okay, let me just have this little. Yesterday, I was having the family, we were having family time. And so we were playing Ludo in the evening. And I bought biscuit. It was supposed to be for the children. So I said, okay, oh, let me just take some of these biscuits. So I took some. We were playing Ludo. I was winning. Actually, I won the 2 games yesterday. It doesn't happen like that all the time. But yesterday was my day. So I was eating. I ate that. Then my second son decided to move the biscuit far off. And then I said to him, just give me like 3, bring 3. And he said, no, mom, it's not good for your health. It's not good. You should. I said, okay, maybe like 2. And he said, mom, okay, I'm gonna give you just 1, and that will be enough for you. So even as human, those things will come. But the thing is that your mind, what frame of mind do you have? Some people say if you think that there was a statement that came out recently in Nigeria, somebody said that all men cheat. And some men are coming out to say no, not all men cheat. Where that is coming from is the frame of mind of that woman. Even if she married a man that would never even look at another woman, she will find fault. Why? She will not even believe it because her mind is already polluted by that phrase to say all men cheat. The truth is all men do not cheat. So that is your mind is what can undo the distraction. And even to undo distraction, you don't go to certain places. For me, I don't go to a single person, even a married person, I don't go to a place where it's only a man that is in that place. I don't. I don't honor such invitation. I don't honor such dinner. Someone can't come. My children don't see me say, oh, somebody is coming out to pick mommy for dinner or lunch. Let's just go and discuss. And the person is a man. Oh, really? We don't need that discussion. So those distractions can come. When we're talking later this month, when we begin to talk about the effect of relocation on family, I will mention certain things that people need to watch out for and watch against. And for me, most times what I look at is the bigger picture. Is the bigger picture. If some people look at the bigger picture before they do something terrible, they wouldn't be able to do it. The bigger picture, what are you going to get on the long run from this? Some people have had to have long distance relationship. The husband, the wife, at the end of the day, the wife had gotten pregnant for another person, or the husband has impregnated someone. But they are not the only people that have long distance relationship that still keeps sanity of the long distance. So you begin to tell yourself, for the good of the family, we're doing this. For the service of God, we're doing this. The bigger picture, when it comes into your heart and it holds strong, you'll be careful. I've seen where all of these things destroy family completely. The joy that ought to be in a family is destroyed. I've seen where a man, because of long distance, even the ones that is close by, just mess around and children are fighting one another. This one belongs to this mother, this one belongs to this. Those things are not called for. Somebody said something one day, said, it is only a selfish man that moves around like that because he thinks only about himself and what he wants to enjoy. He's not thinking about the future of these other children or the family later on. So you need to be careful of distraction. Your wife, yeah, she's my most beautiful wife. No, you will see people that are more beautiful. My husband is the most handsome guy. You will meet people that are more handsome. So you don't, distractions, it can easily come. Because people have their good times, people have when they are stressed, when there's long-term distance relationship, one person is probably more stressed, especially if that person has the children. That person is completely, constantly stressed out because the job of 2 people have become the job of one person. Sometimes when it's even a long distance relationship, the person that is taking care of the children is even spending money. She's the one or is the one taking financial responsibility, taking emotional responsibility, taking physical responsibility, taking mental responsibility over that child or those children. And so it gets stressed out. And if you don't consistently focus on the um long-term picture or the big picture, then that person can easily be distracted to meet the need of the hour. No, if you don't meet that need, the heavens is not going to fall. The second thing is losing bonds. When there's long-term relationship and you're not careful to constantly or intentionally build love, they begin to grow apart naturally. It's so easy to grow apart when you even live in the same house. And if you're not careful and everybody have their responsibility, everybody have the things they're doing, couples can gradually grow apart. How much more when you don't even see one another? People can grow apart. Even for people that are not married yet, they begin to feel a little frustrated, like, what is it even? There are other people here. God can also lead me to this person. Must he be that person? And if they are not careful, they begin to bring little issues that can separate what God has made together. So the connectivity, you begin to lose it. It's just like network, you're calling somebody. If you're close to a place where there is a router or something, you have better network than when you are far off. We have a router, but if we're around this, if we go around this place now, the router doesn't work anymore. So that's how the connectivity is. If you're not conscious to build that connectivity, which is possible to build, you will gradually grow out of love. You will actually grow out of affection. Then love language. Like I said, my first son said, if your love language is you want to touch the person, you want to lean on the person, it's cozy like that and everything. When it's a long distance relationship, there is no such thing. You'll be singing, I'm married to Jesus, Satan, leave me alone. I'm married to Jesus, Satan, leave me alone. So you become, and that for me is the point where you need to know how to channel your energy. How do I channel my energy? Okay, the love language is not there, the touch is not there. But like I said, it's the mind. When the mind is occupied in things, you don't even, those things you will hardly remember. Once in a while, you will, no matter how strong your mind is. But you tell yourself, okay, that is it. That is what I can have now. This is what I cannot have. Some people will talk about a lot of things. When I talk about the issue of sex, some people will say, oh, yeah, they can do sex online. I don't believe in those things. So it's okay. I'm not condemning anybody. My faith, I believe in purity and I believe in righteousness. And so the online stuff and all of those things, I don't believe in it. And I'm not going to teach it because I don't believe in it. I believe very strongly that a Christian can keep themselves pure, irrespective of what. Some people got married and their husband died or their wife died. They are living and they are honoring God. Because after all said and done, it's not even honor for the man or the woman, it's honor unto God. So that's very important to know. Then time difference is another thing. Okay, this person is here, maybe this person is in Australia, then the other person is in Ghana, the time difference. This is just 12:25 here in the US. In Nigeria, it's probably evening time. It's probably 8:25. So when that can create a whole lot of issues. Maybe someone is in school here and the person has gone into school, and the person is in school presently. And the husband is like, oh, I've not been able to talk to you since morning. This, I want to tell you about it. Or the wife is saying, I've not been able to talk. So the time difference, if you are not in the same time zone, can become a problem. If someone is in Bauchi State and another person is in Lagos State, it's even a little easier. But if the time difference is huge, then it can become a problem. It can lead to certain frustration. Like, oh, you saw my alarm, you saw my call. Why didn't you call back? Why? And the person is like, don't you even know that I'm in school? Don't even. So those things can come when if you're not conscious about things. Then trust issue. I wanted to put this first, but I know why I put that last in challenge. Trust issues is a big thing because the mind of a man or a woman, our minds as human beings can travel faster than our eyes, faster than our legs, anyway. Our minds can travel faster than even the aeroplane. So if you have already trust issue, it's going to become a big thing when there is long distance relationship. I've seen a lot of people for even living in the same state or living at different locations. Oh, I've been calling her. Where did she keep her phone? What is she doing? What if you're not careful, the mind begins to travel. The devil likes to take advantage of every little issue. And then you begin to assume you're talking to the person in the long distance relationship, whether single or married, and you're talking to somebody, and the person is like, oh, and then you're hearing sound in the background. Is somebody there? This is the night. Nobody should be there. You're the only one. And the person is saying, it's just me. I put some things on. Maybe something fell. And then the person is already, no, how can something just fall like that? If somebody didn't push it, assumption. I used to say assumption can destroy any form of relationship, whether love relationship or assumption. Don't think for people, clarify. Assumption is the lowest form of communication, but it's not even a communication. Assumption is destructive. Assumption is destructive. So you begin to assume. Somebody said something to me, said sometimes you even begin to lie. Somebody was telling me that when I was doing this research. Somebody said you can even begin to lie to the person because you don't even want the stress. So somebody is calling you and you know that you cannot talk at that particular time. You can say, oh, yeah, I'm in this place. You have just lied. And when you start to lie for what seems like good reason, one day you're gonna have to lie on even things that you shouldn't lie at all. But you're going to start lying on big things as well. So those things can happen in a distance relationship. The truth about it is that, like every other thing, you have to be intentional about life. Like I said, when I started, somebody came to America. He spent 22 years. He thought that, okay, yeah, I'm going to go and you and the children will come in 1 year. I mean, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. I usually don't talk to people because sometimes, like, you think really by force about this whole thing. What is this about? But everybody's reason is different. And what works for every family is different. But the truth is that every relationship can survive. That's what I believe in life. Every relationship that is right, especially every marital relationship, because I want to be careful now, because some people, young people, they're dating wrong people and so on. I say, oh, Pastor Tolu said every relationship can survive. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying just any relationship. Any marital relationship can survive if the two people in the question are willing to work at it. So with long-term relationship. Before I talk about how to make it work, I want to say the story of a woman. I don't know if she's watching. She's a co-minister in the ministry, and then she's also a friend, Mrs. Joshua. Mrs. Catherine Joshua, I was talking with her and asking her, I know a lot about the relationship, but I was still just asking. She met her husband, they both went at different times to this mission field. So they stayed there about a week, mission field, you go and you are preaching, you are doing some other work there and so on like that. Sometimes it's training, sometimes it's retreat. So they went on this mission trip. They didn't know themselves. So the husband saw her. According to her, the husband knew immediately that, oh, this is the woman I want to marry. Maybe conviction in the spirit. She said she knew too, but she was dodging. Why? The husband is Yoruba, she is from Adamawa State. So the husband is from the west, she's from the north, both in Nigeria, and she didn't want to marry someone out of our tribe, outside of our tribe or our state, and so the husband came and tried to be friends and so on. She was running, but at the end, when they were going to leave, both of them shared um their contact, their addresses. I want to say, please, if you're watching this, please share this video. I will really, really appreciate that. So they got married, and so they met themselves. So when a week was over and they were going to go, the husband at the time was living in Jos. So, okay, no, was actually living in Adamawa because his parents were there. So he went to Adamawa. Our sister lived in Jos. So she came to Jos. And he said immediately she came, he sent a letter, love manifesto, talking about the thing and talking about how he believed that God want them to be married. I like that is my brother. I like people that they know and they are not. I used to tell people, my husband 2 weeks after we met, he came and said, I know that God said this is it. He was well suited, he stood up. Oh, God, this is, I said, it's not too early. Brother, you have not known me. Like you're saying God said. I said, there are things you don't know about me that God will not reveal to you. So let's calm down and talk normal. But the truth is, this brother said that. She said initially she was saying no, and so there were letters going back and forth, but that he never gave up. He kept doing. That's why I keep telling people, tell young people, marry a man that loves you. Marry a man that is, if you marry a man already, you are not married, there's this girl here, there's that one there, there's that one. Then when you get married, you want to start complaining. You saw it before. Marry a man that really, really wants you. Because he kept going after her. For about a year, another person will have given up because it was letters. There was no phone calls. And so eventually she gave in. She started praying. She knew it was God. She gave in. And so they started the journey. They started writing letters to themselves. And then at some point, he moved to Jos. Then she moved to Adamawa. They kind of exchanged location, but it was still long distance relationship. And they were exchanged letters. I'm gonna bring them up one day on this program. And I asked her, so how do you do the letter? She said there is a Plateau Riders, a transport company that comes to their place. So he will go to give the transportation, the transport, they do night bus. So he will go give the driver a letter for her. And then the driver will get there, collect the letter, and then she will write letter quickly too. When he's going back, she will give him the letter. So they were exchanging letter. It was a tough relationship because they had to do that to protect the law. That's why in life, looking at the bigger picture and being intentional about things matters a lot. The amazing thing about this relationship is that it lasted 9 years, 9 years before they got married. And it was, I just asked her, so how did you, but they were doing, at some point they were conscious about seeing each other. It lasted that long because not only was she having the problem, when it was time to introduce to the family, his family didn't want the marriage. And our family also definitely didn't want somebody from the West. And so There were a lot of clash, there were a lot of talk, but they kept on their love and they kept praying. Even the long distance relationship could not stop them. Today, they are blessed with 3 prophetic, wonderful children that are doing well. Our first son, our second son, and when she was pregnant for our second child, I was pregnant too. We were carrying pregnancy all over the place. And this woman, she's an amazing woman. I have this true friend. I have this true friend in Jos. The first one, Mrs. Christy Shaku, all my 3 children. She stayed with me till when I get to the hospital. If it's going to take 12 hours for me to deliver, Mrs. Ishaku, Sister Christy will stay with me throughout, and I will have the baby. Immediately I have my baby, Mrs. Joshua is coming right there. She will wash even clothes with blood. Oh my goodness, she will do everything. And today she's a supervisor at our Rebecca's home in Jos. And so this woman, their love stayed. Their love was sustained because we can always make it work. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because they trusted. I asked her, what about the trust issue? And she said, we trusted one another. We're both Christians. We know that we will honor God in the things we do. We trusted one another. So I want to say to somebody that is feeling, oh, yes, I cheated because I knew that it cheated. You don't even get even in such evil. No. Even if that person have done that thing, don't get even with them. The Bible says, don't repay evil with evil. Moreover, you're not faithful just to that person. You're faithful to God. It's about God. And even when anybody have made mistake, please stay from today to say, no, I want to do what is right, to honor God. How do you make it work? Communication is the number one thing. Communication. Relationship cannot be sustained without proper communication. Communication is when you're speaking and the person that you're speaking to understand and give a feedback. The feedback could be verbal, it could be non-verbal. So communication is it. I see people that are even living far off, they talk more than even people that are living together in a day. Constant call. Talk to yourself. How are you doing? How is everything? Send messages. Do the audio call. Do the video call. Laugh together. Those things are very important. It builds the relationship. Both of you may not be able to go to watch a movie together, but both of you can watch separately. Oh, you watch that movie. I just watched this movie, and then you're talking about it. Can you imagine what this person did? Have good laughs. See, when you have long distance relationship, avoid little quarrels. If you want to sustain love and faithfulness, avoid little quarrel, and avoid having quarrel to go sleep. Like I'm not talking, you are not talking, and then we go off. We're leaving the room for the enemy to come walk in. I know that there are situations when the other partner is not willing to work, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you just focus on your life and keep praying for your partner. So communication is, especially when you're also not married. Talk all the time, chat, laugh. Those are good things that build healthy love relationships. So your communication is key. Pray together. Talk together. For my family, we do Zoom prayer call. Do those things. It helps your relationship to be built up, whether you are there together or is a long distance relationship. There is a way you can actually relate with one another that it's almost as though you hardly will be able to feel the difference when communication. You hardly feel the distance when there is constant and meaningful and loving communication. It's very important. The second thing is absolute transparency. If the person is not there, they can't see it. And then you are with somebody today, you're a woman, You are different, and then the husband is seeing you are with this man today, and it's like, oh yeah, it's just a colleague, oh, we just did this together, oh, we just another day is this same colleague, another day is this same colleague, and you are doing things together, you are doing, sorry, my light is messing up a little. So you are doing this together, you are doing that together. You're already destroying that transparency. And then they ask you, how many times do I want to explain? Oh, I really don't want to explain. You either trust me or you don't trust me. No, trust is not abstract. So in that sense, you can feel trust. You can explain things. Don't pick something. Don't pick this green and say, oh, it's blue. You have to trust me to believe it. No. Make green green. Make blue blue. Make white white. Make yellow yellow. You need to be transparent. Oh, where did you go? I was doing this. You should be able to say without feeling anything. Don't get, oh, why are you always asking me? Why are you? It's simple. I was at the gym. Simple. Absolute transparency. Oh, there are people here. I just don't want to show video and show anybody who is there when they know that it's your husband or your wife, that you can't do video. But also, don't also be a person that is pressing. Oh, I want to see where you are. Do the video. I want to, because that's another problem. Some people are insecure. That's another topic for another day. Because if someone is insecure, they can wear out another person completely. And if their insecurity is another level on its own. So you have to be transparent to one another. You have to be transparent. Not that, oh, I'm in Colorado, and then somebody saw you in Texas. And you just told your spouse or the person you're dating that you're in Colorado. How does that happen? The same time at the same thing. They say, oh, I didn't want to explain it. Oh, because no, absolute transparency is very important. Then the second thing is recognize stress and consciously learn to cope. See, when you are not together, let's say family now, there's a lot of stress. The other person that does not have the children should understand that and be doing whatever it is. I thank God for some men, powerful men. I thank God for them. They will do everything to say, okay, I'm not there, but I'm going to be financially responsible so that the stress of finance is even taken away from you. If you can, some men cannot do that financially. They should not be hard on themselves to, things, people are in sizes and grades. So if a man is not even there, find a way to help the other person with stress. If it's the man that has the children, the wife is the one working and doing everything, send the money. At this point, it's not about, oh, the man is the one that has to give them. Help one another. Coping with stress is very important. When somebody has children and they are the one doing the finance, they are the one helping, counseling the children, they are the one praying with the children, they are the one praying, it's not okay. I said it, was it last week also? I said it. The Bible says a man that cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel. That provision is not just about money. Be there for one another. Be there for one another. Oh, that person may even be alone. You may be with the children, but they have certain stress that you have to be there for one another. So understand the stress that each other may be going through and be there for one another. Praise the Lord. Then avoid unnecessary quarrels. I mentioned that. Then married people should be careful and help from opposite sex. So I was going to talk about this when I'm talking about impact of relocation. There was somebody that happened, one of my daughter relocated, and there was somebody that came to help them, from the from the airport. They actually had booked ahead of time, and the person helped, and the person was also willing to do some other help. I mean, even though I know this, my daughter, she fears God like anything. She's very, very sincere with God. She's sincere with everything. She's a girl that will stand with God. But I told her, I said, that man, I want you to be careful. I'm going to spell it out for you. It cannot be the one doing everything for you. You know, and thank God that she understood that, because that's where people get themselves into trouble. Because what you don't know is that that man is already playing husband indirectly, unconsciously. You know, so you don't have anybody. I take my children to school when I'm the only one with my children. I take them to school. If I need somebody else, there's my friend, she's 80 something, but yeah, she helped me to take children to school. So be careful how you have male around you. And even for the man, oh, it's sister so and so. Oh, sister Angelina came and helped me today. Oh, then another time, sister Angelina even brought food. And another time, oh, sister Angelina even helped me. They said, daddy, do you need anything? Do you need, call me anytime? Sister Angelina is already playing husband, wife. Brother Paul, oh, he's very, Brother Paul, when I need him, he took me here. Oh, Brother Paul, he did, Brother Paul is, sometimes the truth is that when they even see that you have children, they, if you're not careful, you become vulnerable. Do not. You don't have to be vulnerable to anybody. People will come, they will do like they care for your children. Be careful, it's all lies. Do not. And so you need to be careful of the opposite sex. You need to be careful of the opposite sex, because some people have had to talk with a lot of people. A lot of people that are even relocated and so on like that, and then like, mommy, I didn't know, I didn't even know when this happened. I didn't, no, sex does not just happen. Sex takes a process. That's the interesting thing about sex. It takes a process. Number one, before I know it, it happened. No. Why didn't it happen on the street? Why didn't it happen at the car park in front of everybody? It is a process to have sex. So it didn't just happen. So avoid it. It will start from first grade, second grade, third grade. Let me not spell it all out. But even from the first grade, before you get to that point, you should be able to. One of the things that I do and I tell people to do, always have accountability partner. Always have a friend that you can tell everything to. Someone that can guide you and you say, no, this person is coming all the way, and the friend can say, not again. And then you can stand. Then turn your emotion into energy, into whatever you're doing. People sometimes ask me this question about long distance relationship. How do you sometimes cope with the issue of emotion, with the issue of sex? One thing, before I got married, I shared my talk about several times about how I used to get into relationships. I want sex, I didn't want sex, but I wanted their love, the person's love, and then I would give in to that. And then there will be sex, there will be pregnancy, there will be abortion, and all of those wrong things. And one day I called out to God. I say, you are my father. I don't need the love of a biological father that I've not known. You are sufficient. The Bible says we are complete in you. And I told God, take that emotion from me. Till I met the man, till I married, take the emotions from me. And God did that for me. When I met my husband, I said, this marriage and this relationship, there's no sex involved. And my husband said, there's no sex and so on like that. And we thought that it was going to be so small. We're children of God. I'm a believer. I'm a minister of the gospel. He's a teacher of the word. But of course, the temptation came. So I'm not just going to say, and we were all just sitting and nothing ever happened. There was almost, you know. So the truth is that those emotions are real because you are human. But you can your mental state can switch off emotion. I've seen it in my life. I've tried it over and over again. Yes, maybe once in a while you do, but put your energy into something else. Put your energy into something else. The person that has the children in a marriage setting may probably not feel as much as a person that does not have children, because by the time you're even doing children all around, a child all around, you have little time to even think about things like that. But the person that is not, they have to consciously keep looking at the bigger picture. Keep looking, because sometimes some people have just made one mistake that has destroyed the family completely. So you look at the bigger picture, you have accountability partner, you have a mentor that can talk to you, you have someone you keep talking, you can talk to your partner. Yes, I feel this way. And then you can, both of you can talk about it. Okay, we're going to see soon and everything like that if you're married. So you can. Then watch the association around you, the kind of people around you. If the people around you also have long distance relationship and they're messing up and living, and those are the people you are connecting with, those are the people you are constantly working. For me, maybe I can say, okay, yeah, I'm a pastor. I'm looking at what such evil can do to my life, to the ministry, to everything. Those are the guiding things for me. You can find your own guiding things. You know what, if I do this, it can become a destructive something, not for the partner, like I said before, but for God, for your children, for so many reasons. So what's your association? What are the people that are hanging around you? If those people feel like, what's it, everybody is doing it, the fact that everybody is doing it, you are not everybody. You're a different person, a child of God, a person of integrity, and you want to keep that faithfulness to God. And so you build that love. That's why you don't do those little quarrels. Because when you begin to do those little quarrels, it makes it even more difficult to now control your emotions when you see another person that is caring. When you're hurting, it becomes, the enemy begins to introduce things to you when you're hurting. I want to plead with you, please don't be very careful. There are a lot of things that the world is doing today. Pornography, all of that. Because of certain situations. If God has helped people like us, God can help anybody. God can help anybody. Life is not all about sex. Life is not all about emotional things. There are more important things. You see so many young people today, they just want to quickly marry or marry a wrong person, and then they get their life messed up and destroyed at the end of the day, and they can't fulfill their purpose. Man was not created for marriage. No. Marriage wasn't the first thing. Marriage wasn't the first thing. That was when God created everything and he saw that it was good. Marriage was not even part of it. Not until the second chapter. Genesis chapter 1, verse 21, the Bible says, and God looked at all that he had created, and they saw that they were good. God created male there. God created female there in verse 24. It said, and God created them, male and female created he there. People will say, yeah, Eve was inside Adam. I don't know about that, but I read my Bible. It said male and female, God created Eden. There are so many things between the line that we may never understand. So, and he said to them, do this, prosper. He said to them, take dominion. Yeah, they will prosper, take dominion. There is purpose for every individual. And what good marriage does is help you in actualization of this purpose. And what a bad marriage will do is try to distract you or derail you from the purpose. From the purpose. So it's not all about, how do you feel? When you feel sad, what do you do? Is that all that you live for? No. I have a lot of friends that are single, they were never married. I have a wonderful woman, Miss Irene. That's what my children call her. Irene is a wonderful lady. She's in her 70s, wonderful lady. She was never married. She loved children. She's a great grandmother. When we came, she's white. When we came, she will come around. Oh, Tolu, how are you? What about your children? Are you guys okay? Are you guys fine? Oh, what about Christmas? Have you bought Christmas gift? One day she said, oh, I want you to take this money. I want you to buy. I was like, Irene, don't worry. We got this. We said, no, I want to do it for the children. I want to, she cares about people. Emotion, I said it 2016 when my spirit left my body in Lagos State. I wrote that. I actually did a video on that. And it's going to play in April. That how I saw Jesus there. In all the conversation about whether I wanted to stay or come back to the earth and all the work that I've done about my crown and everything, nothing was mentioned about my marriage. Nothing. No single question. No single conversation, no single talk about my marriage. So you think his emotion? It goes beyond that. If you're having long distance relationship, honor God with it. Honor God. Do it for yourself. Do it for your spouse. Do it for God. Build the conscious. Be intentional about building the love. When you're intentional about building the love will be built, the love will be sustained. And when you guys see yourself, awesome, great. If you can see yourself regularly, it's good to do it. The Bible says husband and wife don't stay long, don't allow. If you can, there are situations where it's not for a long period of time, but make every effort. And if you can, see yourself as often as you can see yourself. If both of you can be together, depending on what your family have agreed. But the truth is, long distance relationship is not the ideal. But when it happens, love can be sustained, faithfulness can be sustained. I want to thank you so much. Nobody asked any questions, so I want to believe we don't have questions. Next week, I'm bringing in a couple. Oh my goodness. This amazing couple. We're going to have our Valentine's special next week, Monday. It's going to be amazing. And I want to quickly say that, if you have, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do it. Just check Tolu Alabi on YouTube. We have Keeping Hope Alive television program every Sunday in the UK, 7:30 to 8 a.m. every Sunday. We have a Keeping Hope Alive, and the messages are posted on YouTube every week. So please go to our YouTube channel and watch those videos. Those videos are life-saving, they are transformational. Watch the videos, share it with someone, someone going through something, share the video with them and encourage people to subscribe. We're also getting people to have our newsletter. So our first newsletter came out last week. Thank God for the lady that is in charge of the newsletter and the ministry. It was amazing. And then our Rebecca home in Jos, Nigeria, where we are providing help, where we rehabilitate, we disciple, we empower people that have made mistakes in their lives, gotten pregnant, have children, and so on. We're going to be doing campaign also to schools to help people to know this danger and not also be in that situation. So we're helping, to take care of that at Rebecca's home and so on. So we're doing a lot in the ministry. And I always say, if you want to partner with the ministry, please reach out to us. If you want to partner in Nigeria, if you want to partner in the US, please reach out to us. Till next week, keep loving yourself and keep loving God. Next week, and love others, your partner, obviously, So, but next week, Valentine is coming soon. Think of something romantic, something beautiful. Don't do anything boring. Don't do what you did last year. Make it, spice it up. Spice it up, spice it. Do something romantic, something beautiful, for your partner. If you are there, if you are not there, you can always, the world that we are right now, the world is becoming a small place. So you can do something unique and amazing for one another. All our men, all our great men, please get ready, prepare, make it special. And the Lord bless you in the name of Jesus. Till I see you next week on this program, Life and Relationship Realities with Tolu Alabi. Bye for now.